Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. So today's video is made thanks to Kevin. Kevin is a member of AGT and he does have a YouTube channel of his own, and I will leave a link in the video description to his channel and the pinned comment as well, so you can go and check out some more rank 4 ghost gameplay. And he actually was extremely generous in the amount of gameplay that he sent through. I don't think I will be able to showcase all of it in a single video unless I go for like 40 minutes or something like that. But here we are. We're gonna check out some interesting rank 4 ghost gameplay. Now, I haven't seen all of it, but I have seen a couple of clips, and they are genuinely enjoyable. Likewise, in this clip, I think we're gonna get about 300,000 level 2 from Ghost, and obviously that is awesome. So here we go, 100k, 78k, and 105k. So that's nearly 300k there, but only because a couple of Furies expired there. And then he just goes for level 1 to nearly finish off this fight with 1% health left. And how many hits this fight lasted? This fight lasted 31 hits. It should have been, quicker if that 1% didn't survive, but it's, 31 hits, 40 seconds. So let's go on over clips from clips. Fight from fight, and as I mentioned, there's quite a lot of gameplay. So this Mr. Sinister, obviously somebody that you do not typically want to use Ghost against, but this is that Mr. Sinister. This is the first roadblock type of boss that we have had in the game, and I know personally a lot of people who have been roadblocked by this guy for a year because they do not have like a suitable counter and they're unwilling to throw tons of revives in it. So the goal here is, if you want to do this fight with Ghost, it's actually quite straightforward. What you want to do is you want to level 3 him. Now here he did make a mistake because he did get the level 2, which inflicted concussion, which prevented him from phasing, and obviously that was quite painful. The plan is to go for a level 3, and level 3 is how you win this fight. Now again, ideally he would have avoided pushing Mr. Sinister at level 2, but since he did, just need to get over it. But level 3 is obviously not a critical damage type of situation, and with that, he does not regenerate that. Ghost always has been one of the options, but it always took a certain amount of skill to do this fight with Ghost. And as we can see here, it's not even the easiest fight with a rank 4 Ghost, but it's definitely doable. There are better counters for this fight, but Ghost can get it done. Ghost definitely can get it done. So what he wants to do here again is get some Furies, because if you do not have an active Fury buff, you will not be doing enough damage. So you need to get an active Fury, and ideally as many passive Furies as possible by converting the Incinerates and Poisons. And that is how you can do actual real damage here to the Mr. Sinister, and 2 level 3s is what it took to get it down. So let's go on to the next clip. What is this lane? I think this is the crazy Icarus lane. I think this is the Act 6 crazy Icarus spots, and obviously this is just going to be filthy. This is a filthy numbers quest where you can bring in a couple dozen champions and they're just going to be stupid, brutally high damage dealing. You can see 46k medium, why not, and 58k medium as well, and you can get through the entire quest in mere minutes, 5 minutes, and you can clear every single fight in here. So just go and start striking the opponent as much as possible, and whilst you're going to be phasing, you're going to be taking no damage from those degens, and the fights are over just instantly. So that is really not much to these fights, so I don't want it to be the majority of the video with this Icarus gameplay, so I'm just gonna leave it be. As you can see, it's gonna be 89k medium, filth. That's filth explained, but we're gonna drop it there. Now, what is this line? I actually don't know what is this line, but we do have a Night Rusher. Oh, this one seems to be one of the lanes where also it is Ghost as one of the favorite champions always when it's the power shield recharge nodes, where you just get to 2 bars of power and opponents are melting. And I think this is from variant 3. think this is from variant 3. And I think at the end of this clip, we are going to have that Kang fight, which is obviously going to be quite interesting showcase of Ghost interaction with the power back boost, because typically, in order to be able to deal with that Kang, you either need Incinerate or Shock, but there's always the alternative of using, arguably the filthiest amount of damage that's available in this game. Either that be Guillotine 2099 or some other, I don't know, Hella type character or She-Hulk type character that have borderline infinite damage ramp up. But yeah, and Ghost is gonna do that with just spamming level 2s like no tomorrow. So again, this entire lane is just going to be hold the block till you're level 2, and then drop one level 2 on the opponent, and the opponent goes down. So he's getting in there, so dash back, wonderful. Those power back boosts are definitely overshooting the those power back boosts are definitely overshooting. So again, so level 2, 72k, 72k, and 96k. Wonderful. Next fight, Human Torch, shouldn't be an issue either. 108k, 108k, and whatnot. So let's quickly forward through these. Again, he's closing in on his level 2. As soon as he reaches those 2 bars of power, this entire thing is just finished. Next one, we have Captain America Infinity War. That's fine. Oh, this is more interesting because he survived, and then we do get a showcase of the Hood synergy. Because obviously Captain America Infinity War can be an iffy opponent at times due to his glancing, and in this, yeah, primarily due to his glancing. But here we go. So Captain America Infinity War is unleashing his big bad level 3, and obviously Hood synergy is just absorbing all the damage, and none of it matters, and Captain America Infinity War is about to be dead. So only thing, got a bit lucky there, by the way, with that resist. I noticed. Cheeky. Okay, so this is the Kang fight. Now, this is what we wanted to show, right? So this Kang has that selective time stream lane, where every 20 seconds, I believe, unless you have Incinerate or Shock on the Kang, then he's gonna just heal back to full. That's it. You can stop it with like Archangel, you can stop it with Warlock's Neurotoxins, but heal blocks don't work, and pretty much nothing else does either. However, obviously, there's always an option of just beasting your way through this entire thing. So here he is just going to go for a level 2. That is going to push him back to 2 bars of power. And then for another level 2, that's getting him down to 43%, and another level 2. And that didn't quite give him level 2, but level 1 will be enough to finish it. And just before that 20-second mark, when Kang would have healed back to full. It's always a depressing moment when you try and go for the nuke strategy, and if you just miss it, if opponent's like 5% health and heals back to full, it feels so frustrating. I have been there. I have been there before. I think when I did it with She-Hulk or something, just needed to kind of have an entire, new round, new set there. Right. So which lane is this? It's going to be interesting to see. This is one of the paradox lanes. I don't remember it from the top of my head. So every time you parry, you get a paradox charge. And then, I don't remember the upside of this. Which paradox is this? Is this increased buff potency? But either way, the damage is fire. The damage is fire. That's one of the things about Ghost that's so easy to underestimate. Man, those level 2s do so much damage. And again, Ghost is just one of those champions that has become, quote-unquote, unsexy to talk about, or it's just, people can do immense things with Ghost still, and Ghost is still, in my opinion, the best champion in the game. It's just one of those things where if you use champion for years and years and years and years, you're kind of naturally wanting to, try different things, try out different champions. At least that's kind of how it is for me. Initially, I purposely started to not use Ghost and Quake on streams just because that seemed to be some of the most popular comments as well. It's like, you did this quest easily just because you used Ghost and Quake all the time, or how about if we don't have Ghost and Quake, and all sorts of comments like that. And then I kind of got used to just not necessarily relying on Ghost and Quake much, and now I think to a degree Hercules also is falling in that category where I just kind of avoid using those champions because that is how overpowered they are. And if you don't use them for a while, it's very easy to forget exactly how overpowered those champions are. There is still a very, very good reason why Ghost is like one of the, if not the most popular ban, for instance, in Alliance War. Because she just absolutely annihilates so many different matchups, so many different fights. And despite how actively Kabam tries to, create champions that work well against Ghost or create nodes that, would make Ghost struggle, we can see what happens. We can see what happens either way. Even if Ghost is not necessarily the perfect counter, more often than not, you can still get through those fights with Ghost just fine without too much to worry about. And here he's again going to get to another level 2, and that's going to be more than enough to finish out the fight. Brutal. And Ghost is definitely, again, one of those champions that is going to go to rank 4 on my own account in, quite near future as well. Guaranteed. Spent a long time using Ghost. I am also, very comfortable using Ghost without synergy teams, which is something, to be added there. But I definitely am a bit rusty with Ghost, just because that I haven't been using too much of her. I have not been using too much Ghost recently. More so on purpose. Not because she wouldn't necessarily be the best option for a ton of fights. Not because she wouldn't be able to destroy a ton of fights. Just, I mainly play this game when I stream, and whilst I stream, as I mentioned, I kind of try to avoid using Ghost, because that is how OP she is. That is how impressively, insanely OP she is. And we can see it on full display here. So let's go again against Professor X. And on top of that, obviously, ability to prevent evade, ability to mitigate all incoming damage, get openings on your, heart's content. All of that matters. All of that helps. So he's going to bait out the level 1 from Professor X. Obviously, with Ghost, you still do have to play around that phase mechanic that he's going to have. He's going to go for another level heavy attack. Let him use that special. It's going to be the Falter. And as soon as his level 2 is free to be used, which is it right now, the fight is going to be, well, Professor X was nearly dead before that level 2. Now we have Guillotine 2099. He got unlucky here with the phase. I often like to do that myself, parry medium heavy with many champions. And the Guillotine immediately went into her phase, which was extremely unfortunate start there for him. That's just one of those, one of those moments when you get stunned with one concussion against Quake, or, yeah, this can happen. You hit that Guillotine once, and look at that damage. Jesus. That medium was like, what, 48k as well there. I think this is the lane that improves the buff potency. That's why they increase damage. So which boss he's going to go up against? See, no skips required. Okay, so full line here. And, okay, Taskmaster. Easy money. Why not? So very, quick, rapid start. Not specials unblockable, but they're quite easy to dex either way. And now just go for that level 2. 30k, 30k, and 40k. So that's a casual 100k special 2, like nobody's business, without any, special ramp up or without any special heavy attack spamming. It's gonna go for the second level 2 in a second. Why not? And that does another 100k. And now you're probably gonna need what, 1, 2 more special 2s, but it's also extremely, extremely rapid. And here we are. And here he's just gonna go to finish it off with the level 1, because again, that's the guaranteed damage there. Right, let's move on to the next one. This ought to be fairly brief clip. So this is the champion, the one that everybody likes to go and beat up right now these days. It's important to note that champion is superior class in this quest rather than cosmic class. So because it's not a cosmic version of a champion, power boosts work against this champion even if you use tech class. That's why I actually like when opponents are at superior class at times. Yeah, you get the class disadvantage or whatever not, But if you do want to use, your class boost, power back boost and all that other stuff, you can. And, the entire fight can change pretty much immediately. So he's going to go there again for a couple of hits in. A level 2. With this level 2, he gets back to 2 bars of power. He goes immediately for another level 2. Wonderful. Champions at... Oh, there he does make a mistake. Ooh, he gets an armor break as well. I actually had forgotten that champion can do that. I have forgotten that armor break can exist in this fight, but here we are. Champion armor broke Ghost. Interesting. He just needs to get a couple more prowess there. Why not? 2 prowesses are active. He needs to push champion to 1 more special 1. Trigger prowess from it, and then the fight is over. So very brief, very easy takedown as well, I would say. Fortunately, he didn't get prowess from this level 1. So just 1 more special attack. This I am actually convinced that I wouldn't be able to get those prowesses kind of easily today as well, just because I haven't done champion fight in like a year plus, I think. Really haven't been back to do this fight since last time I did it was with Kamala Khan with the Karina challenge, and that was, yeah, like a year ago, I think now. Okay, so what else we have? Here's going to be a very brief fight as well. It's going to be against Killmonger. I'm not entirely sure where, but let's see how it looks like. So this does also appear to be Power Shield Killmonger. Now, obviously, when you use Ghost against Killmonger, there is one key thing to be very, very wary of. When the reverb is on cooldown, oh, this is the 7.4 Killmonger, immediately noticed. But yeah, typically when you use Ghost against Killmonger, you always need to make sure that reverb is not active, because otherwise you're just going to die immediately. But this Killmonger seems to have the parry armor break node on, so whenever you parry him, you armor break him, and that switches off reverb, and that's easy enough. And that was a very quick 7.45, 7.43. I forgot which quest exactly, but I remember the Killmonger. And which fight we do have here? Let's take a look. Oh, this was the Winter Soldier? Was this? Okay, never mind. Never mind, in that case, which clip did I skip past? Oh, I skipped past the Mordor clip, my bad. I thought this... Small mix-up, because all of them are under virtually identical names. So here we are, against Mordor boss. Is this the Act 6 Mordor as well? I didn't notice which one it was, but let's take a look. Let's take a look. Mordor is always a bit annoying. And yeah, I do think this is the 6.25 Mordor. The one that we all hate. The one that's equipped with his own personal toll gate. And the cool thing with Ghost is that until you drop your first level 2, you actually do not gain any buffs typically unless you hit a lot of light hits. So often you can basically spend an entire fight with Ghost without triggering buffs, which is something I genuinely like and appreciate. And here he will have to go for level 1, I think. Yes, so he goes for level 1. Wonderful. He just needs to hope that he uses... no. He wasn't phased. Will he survive this level 3? He did. Wonderful. But that region obviously can be a bit annoying. So then he got a bit unlucky with Mordor obviously not throwing special attack and now being clumped up as well. But this next level 2 should definitely... Oh no! Mordor still survived, man. Mordor is a chunky boy here. And he goes for another level 3, which means he's going to trigger some regenerations. Because Mordor actually does have higher chance to trigger regeneration when he's at a low health level. So he's probably going to proc all 3 regions, or at least 2. And that region is quite potent. But level 1 quickly finishes the fight. I actually like that. I think that was quite an entertaining fight. Eating 2 level 3s, but still surviving. Ghost is and was one of the best options for that fight. The problem with Ghost and that fight was the gates, because you couldn't always bring Ghost or have full synergy for the Ghost. And which fights do we have here? Which line is this? Seems to be some sort of protection on as well. I'm just trying to remember Shang-Chi recently in Act 7. Seems to be Hard Knock Life there as well. He's going, we have Power Boost active here once again. So he's gonna, without a doubt, go for another level 2 that's gonna push him to level 3, I think. That's actually one of the key aspects with Ghost at times, is knowing which power back boost to use, because often in war, for instance, 200% power back is just too much, unless you're fighting like a final boss or something. Yeah, well, but which quest is this? Somewhere. And I think there is also like a Luke Cage solo, but this video is kind of stretching out quite a bit. Trying to remember this fight. Trying to remember this lane. Oh, now I do. I think Hard Knock Life, Special Burst Lockdown. Special Burst Lockdown and Ebb and Flow Intercept. Obviously, is something that can work against Ghost, because if opponent does end up getting a special attack, then, you know, you're going to get armor broken. And the armor break is like the bane of Ghost existence, which is also obviously exactly the reason why Kabam has started spamming armor break in virtually every Cosmic kit. And you can notice a very significant difference in Cosmic Champion kits before Ghost and after Ghost, and all of the buffs after Ghost, because since then, most of the Cosmic Champions can apply armor break without striking you, whether hitting your block or whether just, you know, randomly existing, like CGI. Start the fight against Ghost, Ghost is going to magically be armor broken. You know, Airwalker, for instance, and Angela, you know, as long as she activates special attack, you're going to get armor broken now, so on and so forth. And it's been like a very common theme with Kabam, and they often do that. Obviously, we all know, you know, how Corvus isn't a villain for whatever reason, right? Or Proxima isn't a villain for whatever reason. We all know exactly why Kabam does those things, but it's just kind of funny to take a step back and check out the champions. And you're literally going to notice that virtually every other Cosmic Champion can inflict armor break on you, even without, you know, touching it, especially if they're meant to be somewhat defensively, you know, potent. Started with like Annihilus, hit the block, get armor broken, but that's not good enough. Then they move to the idea of just enter the fight or let them throw a special attack and they're going to armor break you. Terrax, stand near Terrax and you're going to get armor broken. Almost all of the Cosmic Champions since Ghost have those abilities there. You can see here that unfortunately Ronin did use a special attack, so now you need to wait out that armor break. So you need to be a bit patient. But now that armor break has expired, obviously the fight is pretty much immediately over. Immediately over. So next fight's again the same. Nick Fury fight actually could be very interesting, because that should be quite skillful fight, because obviously Nick Fury can bypass miss mechanics. So and that was one of the coolest things about Ghost, when it was evident that Kabam is hard countering Ghost and Quake with True Focus Node being spammed everywhere on, like, you know, every mini boss fight in Alliance War, every you know, new quest or new challenge, new celebrity kind of boss rush type of thing, and until Kitty forced them to remove it. Ghost was still the champion that was faring better, but the skill cap of using Ghost was obviously significantly increased. That was the bigger change, because you couldn't find these super easy openings just by phasing. What you needed to do also was to, you know, properly intercept with Ghost, and that is how, when, and why you can still use Ghost, even if opponents can bypass miss. And I like that about the character. Even if the, like, you know, primary game plan is ruined, she was still extremely powerful champion that was still used in Alliance War boss and mini boss fights, for instance. Even though, you know, every single opponent had True Focus on, people still brought in Ghost because she was worth it. She was good enough, and she was reliable enough. You just needed a better Ghost player. And I think we can all appreciate that. And here, I believe we have reached the natural conclusion of this fight. And we have Gladiator Hulk, which can be quite an annoying fight with Ghost. But I do want to see, do we have a boss fight here? Unfortunately not. The Gladiator Hulk is the last one. Now, the reason I rushed through this lane and showcase was this fight. And this fight's actually quite long, so I'm not going to show all of it. But he does get in the solo. He does get in the solo of Luke Cage. So this is a rank 4 Ghost against Luke Cage in Abyss of Legends. And obviously Ghost has a very good matchup against Luke, because you can get those intercepts on demand. You just need to phase, let Luke dash in at you, and you're going to intercept. But I also like the way he plays here, because obviously the hit count matters in Abyss. So what he does almost always is he tries to use as many heavy attacks as possible, and only then throws his specials. Also, very early in the fight, he does lock in his cruelties with level 3, just so, you know, they are there for the rest of the fight and he doesn't have to worry about the build-up of them, and obviously he does the more damage for the rest of the fight. And it is, you know, again, the smart play for any longer fight to do this, because even though this is subject to diminishing returns, it still will help, you know, even if a little bit, even if that, you know, hit gets 500 attack increase or something, 500 damage increase, just because it's going to be present there for every single hit for the rest of the fight. It matters and it's going to be helpful. And from this point forward, he's just basically going to be spamming a ton of heavy attacks, ton of level 2s. Obviously, there's a lot of things to kind of work around with, especially when the timing is quite unfortunate, like here, where you do need to get in that intercept yourself. So again, very skillful play there. And obviously, also high damage level 2s. Very high damage level 2s. So he's going to go in for another level 2 right now before that indestructible activates. And again, unfortunately, timing wasn't the greatest, but here, all is well. So now you need to wait out that indestructible as you build up to your level 2. And we can see that Luke Cage already has lost like 17% of his health. And from this point forward, basically the fight is kind of virtually the same. It's just a lot of heavy spamming and then a lot of level 2s that do hit very hard. So if we had 68k, and 85k, so that's like what, 200k special 2s. So that's not bad at all there. 200k special 2s. And slowly but surely, obviously you can chip away. Obviously in Abyss, the health pools are huge, so it does take a while. But Ghost just once again proves absolutely excellent damage output, because there are genuinely not many champions that can solo Luke Cage to begin with. And there are even less champions that can solo it within the charges allowed to you. Most of the champions that solo Luke Cage, as many of you know, are, you know, some sort of cheese mechanics or slow abuse, like with Shang-Chi. I soloed him on my Abyss run, and obviously it took way more hits than I was meant to have. Miles Morales, you know, cheese spam, similar with She-Hulk, who can solo this fight, but again, it takes way more hits than you're technically meant to have, and She-Hulk as well. But there are very few champions that can do this fight fully without, you know, abusing that. And Ghost is one of that, so that's quite awesome. I don't think there are many other champions that can solo Luke Cage within the charge limit, so to speak, aside from like Professor X. And who else can do that, actually? Can you guys let me know? Who do you think can solo Luke Cage without abusing slow mechanic or Miles Morales? There aren't too many. There can't be too many. I know Professor X definitely does it, but who else? And then the final 2% here. So nice guaranteed crits, level 2, and the fight is over. So once again, huge thank you to Kevin. I will leave a link to his channel in the video description and pinned comment. I hope you guys enjoyed this nearly half an hour long showcase. Jesus. But I think it was worth the watch. I think there are some excellent numbers, some excellent damage, and some very interesting gameplay. So thank you for that, and I'll catch you guys later. See ya. Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the information about